Hi, my name's Al, and today I'm going to take you through cleaning your bike. It's pretty simple, but it's also very important. It'll help your bike to last a lot longer. The key things that you'll need are a bucket with some water in it, a gear cleaning brush, a sponge, and in addition to that, there's a load of cleaning products out there that you can use to make the cleaning process a lot easier. If you've been a lazy git, like whoever rode this bike last has been, and you've let the mud dry on your bike, you're going to have to get it wet before you start cleaning it. Sponge, plenty of water, a good way of doing this. So you'll notice that we're just using a bucket, a sponge and some brushes here. It's a pretty economical way of using water. You're not going to blast any dirt into the bearings either. So with everything wet, let's get some cleaner. Even this isn't essential, to be fair. If you clean your bike regularly, you get away with just using water, but this helps, especially around the drivetrain area, which can get a bit grimy. I'd avoid spraying any on the disc brakes, because there's a chance that it can damage your brake pads. A lot of cleaners say that they're fine to use on brakes, but to be honest, you don't really need to clean them with anything more than water anyway, so why chance it? It's a good idea to start cleaning at the top of the bike and work your way down, so you're not getting any dirt on the stuff that you've already cleaned. You're going to get most of the dirt off with a brush like this. We'll bring some other brushes into play in a minute. Okay, now we've given the bike a rough once over. We've cleaned all the bits that, to be honest, don't really matter that much. Next we need to clean the important bits, suspension, and the drivetrain, which they're the bits that we save money on. Keeping those clean, cut down on wear and tear, and increase service intervals as well. Okay, so with our small brush, we can clean all the nooks and crannies that we couldn't get to with the big brush. Clean around the webbing on the fork brace, and also, importantly, the seal area. Any dried on grit and crud around there is going to wear the stanchions out quicker than they should wear out. So be really thorough, use loads of water just to wash all the crap away. Same goes for the shock. Looking pretty clean. Now we can move on, clean the drivetrain. This is where the cleaning spray really comes into its own. It's especially dirty around these areas of the bike. This spray helps to cut through any of the grease and oil that's on there. So be really thorough, both sides of the chainring. And in and around any chain device or front mech that you've got on there. Same goes for the cassette and the rear mech. Try to avoid any spray, flicking any oil and whatnot onto the brake, because you'll just knacker your pads. If you've got any water left over and it's still pretty clean, then you may as well lob it at the bike to try and rinse off any dirt that's remaining. Next up, we're going to dry off the important areas and add a bit of lube, a bit of polish, get a race ready. Okay, so just giving the bike a bit of a wipe down with a clean, dry cloth to absorb some of the water. We need to focus on areas like the fork. Really important that this is clean and dry. You can run the rag around the back of the stanchion in between the brace. Just make sure the seals are lovely and clean. Do the same for the shock. Next up, we're going to lubricate the fork and the shock. We're going to need to take it out the stand for this. Got some suspension spray lube here. You could use some red rum, RockShox red rum, or float fluid, or even a bit of cross-country wet lube for this job. With the forks clean and dry, you can add some lubricant. Avoid your disparate at all costs. As you cycle the fork, you'll hopefully see a nice ring of lube. Often there'll be dirt in there as well. If there is, you probably want to repeat this. Make sure there's no oil that's going to run down the lower leg, especially on the left leg, so you can see the brakes down there. Likewise, you need to do the same again for the shock. If you've got a dropper post, it's a good idea to treat this in the same manner. Make sure it's properly clean, especially around the seal area. Add some lubricant and cycle it. Wipe off any excess. With the bike back in the stand, we need to lubricate the gears. Most of the water's dripped off by now, but we can run the chain through a rag and use some water dispersing spray, such as this, on any of the mechs. Avoid any overspray on the brake, otherwise you'll knacker your pads. We need to add some proper oil onto the chain and the mech pivots. That spray's not really man enough for the job, especially where we live. Just back pedal the bike. Just add the lube sparingly. Also add a drop of oil to each pivot on the mechs. On this bike obviously there's only one. Pay attention to your jockey wheels as well. These can be prone to seize. With it all lubed up, just wipe off any excess, because that will just attract more dirt. That's a drivetrain lubed. Finally, if you're feeling really fancy, use some polish on the frame. It's especially good to apply it in places like the down tube that collect loads of mud. If it's nice and shiny, then the mud will be less likely to stick, so you won't be carrying it around on the ride. Again, with any spray that you use on your bike, avoid getting it anywhere near your brakes. That's about your lot. Give it a good going over. Obviously you can take as long or as little as you like cleaning your bike. The more attention you give it though, the longer it will last. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time and keep it clean.